Yeah, no, totally. We could definitely have that to you by the end of the day today. Of course, Sydney. Thanks so much. Yep. You have a great rest of your day too. Bye. What the? Oh, hey guys. We're doing that second part of the Shannon episode today. Yeah, so great news. We actually had so much footage from the last episode with Shannon Charbonneau from XBS Solutions that we have a whole nother episode for you. So surprise. And you guys can go ahead and watch and enjoy, but I'm gonna go back to work.
From my father developing the first self-storage facility in the state of Virginia back in 1973 to becoming a trusted industry leader 4 decades later. Here at the Nicholson Companies, we've seen firsthand the changes and challenges in an industry now valued at over $40 billion and with as many locations as corporate giants Starbucks, McDonald's, and Subway combined. So now, with the help of God, Camille, and my son Edward, we're breaking industry stereotypes and sharing our knowledge, expertise, and yes, sometimes a little humor with our fellow self-storage operators to help you thrive in today's competitive self-storage industry. I'm Tom Nicholson, and this is Locked and Loaded.
So let's talk a little bit about what the future of self-storage with call centers is going.
Sure.
What's your opinion on that?
So I feel like you're asking me about AI.
Yes.
Are we, Leah?
Yes, because with
Yeah.
our call center too, we're starting to use a little bit of AI to,
Sure.
figure out, instead of somebody grading them on their calls, which is, you're picking one out of thousands.
Sure.
Now AI is listening to every call and we're able to pinpoint exactly where, hey, we could have done a little bit of this better, or actually this agent is doing really good in this area. Are you guys
I am
thinking
a
about that too?
huge
Yeah.
fan of anything that makes you be able to do better.
Yeah.
That makes your human people able to do better. I guess let me be specific about that. I am not a fan of anything that is trying to take over for what a human can do.
Sure.
But simple things, like you just mentioned with the QA portion, having it check for sentiment. And just being able to go directly to the ones that you think might be an issue with a live person saves so much time, gives you so much more data. I am absolutely going to always be a huge proponent of that. I have heard people in the industry make comments that AI will put call centers out of business in 5 years. I will just say I really hope that's not true, because people, I think, need people. And while AI can do certain things, you want AI to give a gate code to somebody, by all means, right? But if they have a question and they need help, especially if it's something they could have already answered on your website, here's what I'm going to say about a phone call. They probably are looking directly at your website when they're calling you.
Yeah.
And they didn't answer it for themselves. And they didn't do that because they wanted AI.
Yeah, it's that extra touch of the human touch that you just can't really replace.
And that's what they're reaching out
I do think that, AI is going to help with some of those basic level questions, if you're looking to scale back. But I think if you're scaling up, that's when the human touch really sets you apart from your competition.
Absolutely.
So, and something else I want to ask you too is, you're just so passionate and enthusiastic about, self-storage and call centers. Can I ask, where does that come from with you?
Well, I mean, I think part of that is just my natural bent. I care. I really, truly care. Everybody who knows me will tell you that I have a mama heart. And I bring that to everything that I do. And shame on me if I get to do such cool things as come and do things like this, and I don't act like I'm having a good time. How terrible would that be? So that's definitely part of it. But as far as this industry goes, I will tell you, I've been in self-storage now for about 15 years. Coming up January 3rd, 2011 was my first day. And about 3 days before that was when I heard that such a thing as self-storage existed on the planet, right? So definitely didn't grow up thinking this is what I would do. My background was in corporate security, of all things. And so this is just so very different than, the last major conference I attended was about corporate espionage.
Oh, okay.
It was not anything like when we go to our self-storage conferences. And actually, I tease my husband and I tell him, well, I'm packing, I'm going off to the next family reunion in Las Vegas or Texas or wherever it is that I'm going, because I get to see my clients who I just love, and I get to see other vendors in the industry that I've grown to have a really close relationship with over the years, and the people specifically owners and operators, I find self-storage to be special in that, to me, it's one of the very few business ventures left in the world where people are building something for their children.
Yeah.
It is not at all uncommon for me to see someone walk up to a trade show booth with their 18, 20-year-old child talking about, we're training them, they're going to be the next ones. And where else in corporate America do you find something that's meant to be handed down to the next generation? I think that's delightful.
Yeah.
And I am very passionate about that. And I would say that long before my career here, I've always been in customer service of one kind or another. I say since deep back in the 1900s, I've been doing customer service. The fact is that the experience that people have when they contact you, that's all they know you by. You have a very brief window of time to explain yourself to them. And I don't think it's the words you use all the time that do that. I think it's a matter of how you make people feel.
Absolutely.
And so I encourage our team when they're answering the phone to remember that in self-storage specifically, that a lot of times people are not having their best day when they're reaching out for self-storage, even if it's a great reason, it's still a stressful thing and I have to move and, I got to get a truck and it's a whole thing. But on the flip side of that, it could be from something bad happening,
Yep.
right? They're downsizing because they lost their job, or they're divorcing, or it's things that you really don't know about with most
Yes.
people. And we get to know those things. So I encourage empathy and just kindness, right? Helpful,
Yeah.
friendly, and kind.
I think even for call centers in general, and something I learned when I was a field manager is smiling. I mean,
Yes.
there is a such thing as smiling through the phone, and people can hear that in your tone. And I worked one time at a facility that was in a downtown. It was a pretty rough area. Everyone was like, Camille, why would you work there? Why do you want to move there? It was just closer to home for me at the time. But I would literally kill people with kindness. I mean, when somebody would walk in with a complaint and they'd see my bright, smiling face, it's
Yes.
like it takes them down a couple notches. And even I feel like when people are calling a call center,
For sure.
when they have a happy smile, it's not like a, oh, hello,
Yeah.
it's a,
You didn't just
hi,
wake me up.
yeah, exactly. It's a hi. How I want to help you. How can I help you?
Right.
Please tell me what I can do to help you. That attitude just sets the tone to automatically fix the problem from the beginning. I mean,
Absolutely. And not to get involved. We tell them friendly, never personal, right?
Absolutely.
So if someone tells you, I'm moving in because my grandmother died and I have to clean out her house,
yeah.
a friendly answer is, I am so sorry that happened.
Yes.
Let me get you taken care of as quickly as possible because I'm sure you have a list as long as your arm
Yeah.
of things to do. I'm going to help you.
Let's make this simple.
Not personal in, oh my gosh, what happened to your grandmother? Right? That's not the right answer.
Yeah, it's
Or
a balancing act,
Yes.
in customer service in general. It's just like knowing when to, just go ahead and give somebody the price and let them go,
Right.
or walk them through everything and hold their hand.
But still acknowledge with empathy that they're
Yes.
going through a hard time, and then just take it back to, here's what I'm going to do to help you.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Okay. I'm going to tell my story.
Okay.
So another reason that you might consider using a call center is a lot of times you're in a one-person facility, right? Or you have one store or a couple of stores, and the people you're competing with, they're really David, versus Goliath in some cases. And one of the things that I think a call center is good for is to make you just seem more legitimate and larger than a single operator normally could be, right? And I always use the example of, I am that lady that if it has fur on it, I'm absolutely going to love on that,
touch
right?
it.
And I want
Me
to touch
personally.
it for so much. I
Yeah.
want to touch it. And if you hear that I died somewhere in the woods touching something that had fur, if that's how I go,
how we
that's how I
go.
go. That's right. And I found myself in Yellowstone with a giant herd of buffalo crossing the road. And I may or may not have been that woman who got up a little too close taking photographs.
Oh my.
And a mama bison was going across the river, and she didn't like how close I was to her baby. And I know this because she looked at me and said exactly this. And I said, and I quote, "Yes, ma'am." And I backed up against an RV because I wanted her to see how large I was. You see, I'm this big against this giant RV. And I always tell people, when you have a call center and you have 104 hours a week with a live person helping your callers, you are so much larger than your 40 hours a week person in a store who is also in the restroom, at the bank, in a unit, dragging a questionable bucket of liquids somewhere and can't answer the phone. It just makes you larger and more formidable.
Absolutely. I mean, I just know from experience calling self-storage facilities, trying to kind of shop the competition and how many don't answer. I mean, and then they don't even call you back either. And it's like, yikes. So you're going to gain the business by having that call center and looking a little bit bigger and giving that service, that big service, really.
This big service.
That big,
Can I keep that?
You
That's
can.
mine now.
You can coin that. Well, thanks, Shannon, so much for joining us again, flying all the way from Texas. So I can't thank you enough for doing all this for us. You've been a great friend in the industry. Anything else that you wanted to share today?
No, thank you so much for having me. I'm just excited, and this has been so much fun. And thanks again to the Norfolk Yacht and Country Club. This is an absolutely stunning venue, and can't wait to see all of your new episodes.
Absolutely.